folks, let's get into it immediately right now as we start the day. Man, markets are looking to try to move up and start to move today. I mean, we've had some amazing moves today in the market the last couple of days. So let me just start off and introduce myself. My name is Karl. I run AceTradingClub, and what we do is we're day trading Discord. It's free. There's a link right here on the screen, and there's a link in the description of this video and all of my videos about the market where you can come join. It's free to join. Now we have a paid membership where I give you my exact entries, exits, thesis on trades, and you're free to come and check it out and have a look. We're running a promotional right now where you get several days free to join and have a look. Hopefully you can make some money with us. But everything I'm going to go over today is just my personal opinion, not financial advice to you, but just my thoughts and opinions on what I would look for a trade today to see if we can make some money today in this stock market. But let me just show you really quickly what the Discord looks like. I flashed it up there just for a second, but in here we have a free community where I'm just kind of giving you the game. Yesterday I talked about, and I tell members all the time, you can't miss a trade. The market always gives you a second chance. So this was just something I just wanted to just reiterate to members to let you know that it always gives you another chance to take an entry. And I'm going to show you this graph right here. This is Tesla yesterday, and I'm going to show you how we traded it yesterday. But yesterday was just on fire, another day. We had some live winners. We had Tesla winner, IBM winner, QQQ winner. I don't hide from my losses. I had an in-phase loss. It was a small loss, 10 cents here. It ran up eventually, but for me, it just whipped me out. There was just better stocks to trade, so why waste my time? I'd rather lose 10 cents and just move on. There's no need to fall in love with the position. So, it's just what we do here. We got trade ideas that we give out here, just for free for people to have a look at. You can check out our members winning here. Thanks for the trades, brick by brick. That's our model here. I just need to work on the FOMO that you tell us about. Yeah, that's one thing. This member made what? 61 pounds. 55 pounds on Tesla, and I think they made another 100 pounds on Tesla yesterday. So, just brick by brick, members making 500, 700. Right here is Joseph here, made 1,200, and this was on a road trip. He told us he was on a road trip driving in a car. Wife was driving. He had the headphones on and made 1,200. There goes the road trip, paid for, just like that. 1,200 Tesla in gain in Tesla yesterday. QQQ, 975 for Sam, 450 long on the SPY. Francis with a small win. Members just constantly winning, But right here in the chat room, you give the live trading room here where if I'm not on the mic, which is down here, I have the voice and you see my screen. If I'm not live, I go out here and I give my trades and my thesis on stocks. So you're never empty-handed. You're never just in a trade or not understanding what I'm going to be taking and what I'm looking at. And then we just have the Hustlers Lounge in here where we just go out here and we just, other trades. We give trade ideas just to members in the paid area. This is the paid area, and we just give some basic information there, and we just chat. We just chap it up like that. But that's just what the chat room looks like. And we're building this new member zone out as we grow this community of traders where we're going to have where you can ask your questions, get one-on-one coaching, one-on-one advice, trading glossary so you can understand the terms that I use and terminology that just exist out there, trading, and then educational videos. So we're just working on this area here, and we're going to have our weekly meetups with members so they can just learn and educate themselves on the stock market so they can have an opportunity to make money in this game. So come join us, come check it out. Again, link is right there on the screen. But let me just get into this. So we got the SPY right here. I want to start off first and foremost, talking about this market. One second here. Let me get, I think my window's all messed up real quick. There we go. All right, let me get the right window up there. So let me just show you right here what's going on with the market. We got Dow futures down just a hair. Let me just refresh it. Let me just double check, make sure I got the latest data for you. So Dow futures are down, the S&P futures are down, but just hair, less than 1%, less than half of 1%, We have the NASDAQ futures down, which is the QQQ. It's down 1/4 of 1%. Oil down. We got the 10-year Treasury. It's down pennies of a percent, but it's at 4.272. That's just something to look at. We've had the European markets rate go higher. We've had the German DAX up almost 1%. The FTSE 100 up almost 1/4 of 1%. The French market up. So markets just going up. Looks like Trump here is. We've had Google go. So we got Trump here talking about his Russia deal and things like that. But I said, just going through the market with you live. I haven't really done anything to see what I'm going to trade today. But I want to show you some other stuff. Let me show you the SPY, show you what we've done, okay, and what I see on the market. So for those that are new, I'm always going to say this on every live. What you're looking at is a daily chart of the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the U.S. This is the ETF, which means anybody can buy it, okay? And you can play and have exposure into the U.S. stock market with the top 500 companies in here, okay? Right here, each candle, whether it be green or red, just represents the price action of the day. Okay, so if it's a green candle, it means it started low, finished high. If it's a red candle, it means it started high and finished low. It has no bearing. The color of the chart has no bearing, or the candle has no bearing on the previous day, whether it was up on the day or down on the day. Has no bearing, because if we zoom in to not just yesterday, you'll see how this is yesterday's chart. Let me put it on demonstration mode for you right here. So this is yesterday's price action. Started low, finished high. Right, so we're a green candle. But you got the red candle here, started high, finished low. But look, between the previous day, you have a green candle. So we were actually up on the day, but the candle was red, okay, because it started high, finished low. That's all this is telling us, giving us an indication of what the price action of the day looked like. So the S&P, so we have members trading the S&P. We had some great levels called out on it and on the QQQ, which I'll get into. So what I'm seeing on the S&P 500 right now is, let's be clear, you know, there's all this talk about the market being in free fall. I'm here to tell you right now, it is not. I love to just pull this all the way out. I'm gonna zoom all the way back out to 5 years ago. I love doing this every day just to show you where we were at. This is the COVID plunge, where it was at what, 333, 337. We dropped as low as 220. Let's call it 220. That's when the world really came to an end. That's when markets stopped. That's when it just was crazy, right? That's a drop. That's a crash, okay? And from that point on, we've gone from 220 all the way up to 600, almost a 3x in 5 years, okay? And this right here, this low here represents just 20% drop. And it never closed below 20%, okay? Where when COVID, you had like a 30, 35% drop in the market. I think from 330 to 220 is something like 30, maybe even 40% drop. This drop from this high here of about 610 to 490 represents just shy of 20% drop. And we have rallied off the low from that. Okay, so this is the Trump tariff mayhem, chaos. And I continue to tell members, let's not worry about that. We're going to make money regardless of the market going up, down, whatever the news is, whatever the noise is in the market, there's opportunities in there for us. And we do it every day. You know, we have hard trades. We definitely have hard trades. There's no doubt about that. But like I tell members, we're not in a hard trade, we're just in a long trade. So members know that. We just try to focus on what we can control, the controllables. And what we try to control is our ace trading, okay? And we just do that every single day. We got to control the controllables. So right now we're at the top of this God candle, this thrust candle that we had on April 9th, okay, which we started from the low and pushed up, and we had trillions of dollars pour into the market, and we just rolled over. We just kind of chopped in here. Now we're at the top of this. So it's going to be a Herculean effort. We've had a nice rally off the low from here. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Nice pivot up to here. I would expect a slight pullback. I have a level here for people that I find interesting. So let me make this chart a little bit more confusing with all these lines and stuff like that, okay? But for me, I would draw my yellow line today, which I like to tell members, I draw a yellow line. I have a level of support on the spiders. If it was to get into this level here, that's where I would like to trade it today. If it was to push down. Now, if it was to really start to sell off, eventually we're going to come back into this area, eventually, okay? But I don't see that happening today. But if it did, that's an area of interest. But for me, I like my secondary entry right here at about 533. So in here, inside this little wheelhouse here is where I would like to diddy-daddle with the SPY if I was looking to play long the SPY today. Let me show you the QQQ. Again, same type of chart pattern. We've had this thrust candle on April 9th. We've chopped up and down. We made this pivot here on Monday this week, and we just rallied up from there. 1, 2, 3, 4 days up from there. So 3 days up. 1, 2, 3, third day up with a nice rally in the market yesterday, just at the high of this thrust candle. Expect a slight pullback. It's going to be a little tricky to see if we're going to get a mega thrust up today. Okay, but let me show you my areas on the Qs. I got some areas here. So I'm making this a little bit more hard to see, but it's still the same chart, still the same information there. Okay, so I got all these little red lines in here. Let me just disappear them. So you can see them. All these red lines, they become resistance level, resistant ideas. So we haven't taken out the 468. Okay, and I told members yesterday, I said, if we got to 462, the max move you can expect is 468. Okay, so if we got to 462, the max move should be about 468. And it got really, really close to that. Okay, so it thrusted up here. Okay, so that was an interesting play. Okay, so today, where I like today for a yellow line. Okay, I do have a yellow line for it. Let me just double check my, I do a little calculation as well sometimes to understand where I like it. Okay, yeah. I don't see us getting that. I don't see us getting this low, but it'd be interesting if we did. But a level of support, which I can now turn these from red to green. Okay, so even though these lines were resistance, now they are support. So let me turn it from red to green. Boom, 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 bam. Turn this one into support because we're over that, and we still got the resistance up there. So I got a level. I have a level today that if we were to get into this zone, I would like it, okay? Now it's going to require some market participation for a bounce. But I like it right here at this 462. 462. Let me just double check that level again. 462 and then we got the big level down here, which would be right here. Oops, which would be right here. Can't draw a straight line. Right in there. That's where I would draw my yellow lines today. I think I will revise this one just a little bit down to 461. I think right in that wheelhouse is of interest for me on the QQQ for a pop, for a dip and rip. If it was to get in the big level being the 458. Don't see it getting that low, but we should be able to touch 462, 461 today. Would be of interest for me today. Now we've had Google with its earnings. Crushed earnings. I've been stuck in this trade since the last earnings and had to ride the wave all the way down, some 20%. So last earnings, we've had this tank down February 5th, and we just had to ride this bad boy down, some 20% down. Okay, so we've averaged into this by now. Now we're just a hop, skip, and a jump from closing this out, at least getting to a flat line. But it's Google, so I don't stress too much. I have the right risk management associated with this trade. So levels to buy of interest today. If you were to get a pullback, let me make sure my lines are there. Yep, they are. So obviously I like this level right here, which would be about 162, 163. Yeah, about 161. Let's call it 161. If we were to get into that, that looks like a very interesting level with the big level of support being all the way down here, 158. So right in there, 158, 161 are interest levels for me for a bounce today in Google if it was to give it to us, okay? Let's continue to watch Tesla. Tesla continues to amaze. Why? It just had earnings, had an atrocious earnings, okay? Barely made any money, but the stock is up. Why is that? Because it doesn't matter what you've done. All they want to know is what you're going to do. Now you have Musk saying he's going to come back, he's going to come into work, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, we're down off of a high from, what is it, about 485. We're still around 260 at the moment. What a nice rally off the low. Pretty impressive. But I still have some levels of interest for me today. But let me show you what I talked about. You can never miss a trade. They always give you another chance. So let me just show you what I was telling members, okay, when I was telling you earlier today, okay? Things that people just don't see because they don't know how to trade this market. So we traded this market here yesterday. See these purple lines? See these purple arrows? We bought it yesterday right around here, and we got this massive bounce to 452, okay? It would have been red at the time, so let me make it back to red so you can see it. We buy here on this first purple, it runs up, we get in, get up, get out, okay? It runs all the way back, starts to sell. Guess what? There's your second chance. There's your second bite at the apple if you took it. Boom. Runs up, you could have got in and got out there, or you could have held it all day and got out right there at that extra top. Look at that. Could have rode it all the way up to there if you wanted another entry. You could have bought it here, got in, got up, got out. You could have waited, got a second entry at the same exact entry, and rode it all the way back up, way up here, and got the same amount of money, same amount of things. And then it pulled back, checked back, and went even higher. So like I say, the market always gives you another chance. They cannot help themselves. When you master the idea of the fact that you got to find out where buyers like to buy and where sellers like to sell, when you can find those on a regular basis, you're ace trading. You're on your way to ace trading, I should say, at least. Okay, and that's what we do here every single day. It's Friday. It's been a really good week. I don't want to finish the week on a bad note, so we're still going to look to trade it. I'm not running from any smoke. I'm always looking to take a trade. I don't run from any stock. So levels today of interest today. We always have levels of interest, okay? First level of interest for me today, okay, is about I think it was 255, 256. Yeah, 255, 256. You get into that level, it gets very, 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 very interesting. So I want to see 255, 256 today. Let me zoom in. This is hard to see. This is hard to see. So we're going to see about that. Next level for me, I doubt we're going to reverse this entire green thrust candle, okay? But if we get to 256 and clearly 253, if we can get right back into here, we love it today here, okay? That's where my idea to trade it is today, is around 256, which is only $3 away, and then to 253, 252. Those are my levels right there of interest for me on Tesla. Palantir continues to be a rock star. I mean, this thing here, I had a level at 82 a couple days ago. Would have bought it here, got within $1 or so of that level, and since then it's just taken off to the upside. I still like it. If it can pierce 100 today, which is $7 lower, that's going to be like that's a 7% drop today. I don't see that happening. So I'm going to try to stay away from Palantir today if I can, and I'm just going to wait and see if it's going to come back into me again. It always gives you a second bite at the apple. You just have to find the level. Where do buyers want to buy, and where do sellers want to sell? Okay, so we're right here in this area, this risk area where they want to start to sell and take some profit. But let's just watch it. There's a high risk level about 103 today. That's where I would look if I really, really wanted to get into it. So I'd look at about 103 today. NVIDIA, man, this is the one I keep telling members every single day. The only regret you're going to have with NVIDIA, in my opinion, is you didn't buy more when it was down here in the low 90s. Simple and plain. That's all we're going to have. It's going to chop up and down, but eventually it's going to take off, and we're going to see ourselves in the high 120s, 130s. Simple and plain. You can count on it. I think, in my opinion, you could take that to the bank. So that's how I'm setting myself up, looking to profit off of the volatility, off of the move. Let's see what the market gives us, every single day. There's other stocks that are of interest today. We got Meta making some noise. We got SMCI making some noise. Let's look at SMCI. SMCI has gotten followed by, I want to say, Citigroup or Citibank, and they're starting to take a look at it. They have a price target, I think, of about $39. So we're about $4 away from it. I like this stock just in general. I think we're getting it for a very cheap steal down here. If we zoom all the way out, this stock was as high as, before it got hit with this financial situation, it got as high as $120. So, we're talking a solid 70% off from the high of, all-time high. And this happened really, really fast. So I think down here becomes very interesting for a long. I would wait for a pullback. My area of interest would be about $33 today. If it got to about 33, all right, then you can come talk to me, but we want to watch this one. Down here, once you get into the 30s, it becomes an area where I'd like to hold it long term. So it's interesting. It's in what I'd call a swing trade area. Get into the low 33s, low 30s. Oh my gosh, folks, you got a chance to make some serious bread. I'm not saying it's going back up to 120. I don't know if it's going to ever do that again. But what I'm saying is I think, in my opinion, it can get to about $50, $60. It's going to take all the Trump tariffs to go away and stuff like that, but it's going to be interesting. We got Meta, and then I'm going to look at Netflix. But I think Meta has announced some layoffs. It's pulled back from its all-time high. Let's have a look. Its all-time high was about 725. I have a level down here. I was hoping we get a massive market crash around 380. That's where I was going to scoop this bad boy up long term. But let's just have a look. 547. It's up 2% today off of some layoff news. I mean, if you get a check down to this 540, 539 is of interest today. I don't know if it's going to do that, but we still, what I like is it's now just in the middle of the thrust candle. You have the April 9th thrust candle, which you find on many charts. And where it is, we're just at the mid part. We've just bounced off the low. We went way lower. I wish I'd have been watching this the last couple of days, because this was a heck of a buy down here. But if we can get into 540, sounds good to me for a long. Other than that, man, you got to come check us out, man. It's free to join. You can see it right there on the screen. Right here, free. Come and join us. Check us out. We're there Monday through Friday trading this market, and we hope to see you there.